their stars ahead of the playoffs. Plus, Jimmy Garoppolo speaks on the Niners drafting Trey Lance, how he says he'll model his relationship with Trey after the one he had with Tom Brady. And after Terry Bradshaw called Aaron Rodgers weak, why Stephen A. Smith actually believes that Bradshaw is not necessarily wrong.
So that has my attention.
Absolutely, because we are very aware of how Stephen A. Smith has been 100% on the Aaron Rodgers train, defending him from day one. So we can't wait to hear that. Matt Berry and Sage Steele here with you.
It's going to be a fun hour of the show, including tonight in the NBA. The Bucks an opportunity to clinch a playoff spot. Big matchup tonight against the Nets. These teams squared off just 2 days ago with the Bucks winning by 3 behind 49 points from Giannis. Kevin Durant missed a potential game-tying 3 at the buzzer. But James Harden, you talk about the health of the Nets all year. He remains out, and they've struggled without him, going 9 of 9 since he joined the team. Compared that to 27-7 record Brooklyn was when Harden takes the floor. And this could be a big game to determine playoff seed. And the Nets are 2.5 games up on the Bucks for the second seed in the East, and just a game behind Philly for the top spot. So we are at the point of the season where playoff positioning and clinching becomes paramount. I want to welcome in our ESPN NBA reporter, Malika Andrews. Malika, what is Giannis saying about another crucial matchup with Kevin Durant tonight?
Well, Matt, after they last played on Sunday, Giannis told me how much he grew up admiring Kevin Durant in his game. He said he recalls when he was probably 15 or 16, just watching the way that he would play. And so these are the type of matchups now that both Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo both told me that they just relish in. They want to play against the best, iron sharpens iron type of mentality, and expect it to be no different tonight in this matchup. Now, from the Nets' perspective, what they're looking to do is free up Kyrie Irving a little bit more. Drew Holiday was incredibly successful locking him down in that last game, so they're trying to make some adjustments there. And in terms of guarding Giannis Antetokounmpo was able to hit some three-pointers, some mid-range jumpers in that last game that they're going to live with, potentially a little bit more than they would like to if he's hitting those shots again tonight, but they want to make some adjustments there. But this is the type of matchup both Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo said they're looking forward to, although Kevin Durant told me he's hoping the outcome is a little bit better for the Nets this time, Matt.
Yeah, you know what, with competitors too, good on good produces such a fun game to watch between two guys who have MVP and otherworldly talent. Tonight also the second game for Brooklyn on its final road trip of the season, ends in Chicago next week. So what are the Nets saying about how they're approaching this final stretch of the season?
Yeah, Matt. So Kyrie Irving told me before they took off on this road trip that potentially it was more important to the team than previous road trips they've been on this season just because of where it falls. It's late in the season, and this is a team that you said James Harden is still out, but they are as healthy as they've been in a long period of time. They're getting Nick Claxton back. He's been available for the past 2 games, although including tonight, although Steve Nash has elected not to play him so he can get his legs back under him a little bit. This is a stretch where they're looking to build camaraderie, where they're looking to see what they have with the pieces that they have right now. And Steve Nash said because they have no back-to-backs, he's hoping that they can put together a stretch here where they feel good about the pieces that they have so that when James Harden does return, he's able to assimilate quickly.
And it's also a stretch too. We talk about sometimes the regular season gets a little mundane, but now when you sit just a game behind the 76ers, the Nets do in the race for home court advantage in the East, these games towards the end of the season are huge. Malika Andrews giving us perspective in the latest here on SportsCenter. Thank you, Malika.
Let's keep it going with Kendrick Perkins back with us live on SportsCenter. And Perk, when you think about what happened on Sunday and basically the duel between Kevin Durant and Giannis Antetokounmpo tonight, what are you most looking forward to watching in this rematch?
Well, you know, in the first game, I was most impressed with Giannis as far as how he went toe-to-toe with Kevin Durant. When you looked at it, like I have been very critical of Giannis about his four-quarter performances when it matters the most and the game is tight. I thought he went toe-to-toe with him defensively and offensively. And I want to see him repeat that because we already know what Kevin Durant is going to do. In my eyes, the greatest scorer to ever touch the basketball. I want to see if Giannis could follow up that 49-point night he had on that primetime day on Sunday and follow that up with another great performance offensively and defensively and match up to the superstardom of Kevin Durant.
Absolutely. Giannis, again, a season-high 49 on Sunday. Combined, he and KD for 91. So we'll see what those two bring tonight in Milwaukee. Perk, as always, thanks for joining us. And let's talk about the team that's at the top of the Eastern Conference standings. The Philadelphia 76ers visiting the Chicago Bulls. Second night of a back-to-back. A lot of those as we wrap up the season. Joel Embiid, 6-0 in his career against the Bulls, believe it or not. This is early on. Off the miss, Danny Green finds Joel down the court, driving in. They led 34-20 after the first. That's like 2 touchdowns. Time expiring on the shot clock. You see Tobias Harris driving, splitting 2 defenders, throwing that down one-handed. About a minute later, Embiid misses the J, but Harris is there for the putback dunk. Those follows huge. They had 6 dunks in the first half. That inside game going well. They were up by 17 heading into the third. And then in the fourth, Kobe White had Denzel Valentine in the corner. Next possession for him, Embiid. That fadeaway jumper, that's pretty, right over Daniel Tice. Embiid, it was going to be enough. Harris led the team with 21 points. Sixers win 106-94. And once again, Joel Embiid stays unbeaten against the Chicago Bulls. So Philly has won 5 in a row now. They're a game up on the Nets for first in the Eastern Conference. It is a tight race. Why is that so important right now? With the Bucks a favorite to get the 3 seed, this would mean Philly would avoid a second-round matchup against Milwaukee, instead getting a much more favorable matchup with the 4 seed. That's huge. By the way, the Sixers, they are 0-3 against Giannis and the Bucks this season. Yeah. Ahead on SportsCenter, the top 3 in the East. That's pretty solid. So which team below the Sixers, the Nets, and the Bucks can be their biggest challenger? Kendrick Perkins, he says this team, that one from Atlanta, can ruin the party atop the East.
You know, it was a mystery to everyone, but 49ers GM John Lynch and head coach Kyle Shanahan, that Trey Lance, North Dakota State, would be their future quarterback and would be taken 3rd overall. The question then immediately shifted towards incumbent Jimmy Garoppolo. Jimmy G reached out to Trey Lance, immediately congratulated him via text, and spoke this morning on KJZ.
The communication has been good. You know, there really hasn't been anything unsaid. Everything's been put on the table, and it's kind of one of those situations, you know, I'm just happy to have the opportunity to play football. All you really need is an opportunity. I mean, if you get an opportunity, you got to take advantage of it, and that's what I'm trying to do. You know, I try to use my own personal experiences and just what I went through, what helped me, what challenged me as a young player. And so, you know, I'm going to try to use those tools that help me and, you know, try to help Trey out. So whatever I can do to help him, I'll be more than happy. You know, it's kind of, you know, coming full circle. You go through this NFL career and you start as a young guy, come in. Tom kind of showed me the ropes. The competition between us was awesome. Really made me grow as a rookie and a young player. And so that's kind of what me and Trey we'll mold our relationship into that, but it'll happen naturally. It's one of those things you can't force anything, just let it come as it may.
The difference between that young quarterback situation and the veteran in Green Bay and San Francisco is so striking. Louis Riddick back with us now. And Louis, look, this could end up being a luxury pick for San Francisco. You've been noted saying this. Jimmy Garoppolo and the team has said he's our starter for now. Trey Lance has some learning to do. But in your mind, how quickly should we see Trey under center for the Niners?
Yeah, Matt, I don't think you can really put a timetable on it. I don't think you can really say he should start by this date or X number of games. I think this is something that Kyle literally is going to have to play. Kyle Shanahan, the head coach, is going to have to play by ear and just see how quickly Trey is able to really, you know, dive into this offense, digest this offense, and be able to execute this offense at a level that matches the expectations that this team overall has, which are Super Bowl expectations, make no doubt about that. They don't want to be competitive in the NFC West. They want to win it, and they want to be NFC title contenders overall. I think the one thing about Trey Lance, though, that I think San Francisco is trying to get out there is the fact that this is not a young man who, despite only playing 17 games in college and only playing against FCS level of competition, is that they don't view him as someone who is behind the 8 ball as far as the rest of the Power 5 FBS quarterbacks that he was matched up against in this draft. They think that he has more than enough football intelligence and more than enough mental horsepower to go ahead and digest this offense and play as soon as he has proven that he's ready. And nothing could be better. Nothing then could be better than to go to a situation where you have a quarterback like Jimmy Garoppolo, who's getting paid a lot of money, who has known for a while now that this was probably the situation that he was going to be faced with, meaning a quarterback was going to be drafted very high by the team that traded for him, and that he was going to have to make a choice. Whether he was going to be antagonistic about this or whether he was going to aid in the young man's development. And judging by his words and by his approach so far, Trey Lance should be thanking his lucky stars because everything is being set up for him to go ahead and take over when it's time and for him to go ahead and succeed. It reminds you a lot about the Kansas City model that everybody talks about. When Alex Smith was already there, Patrick Mahomes comes in. Alex Smith is someone who everybody loves and respects, and he teaches Patrick how to be a pro. As an organization, you couldn't want anything better than that. You just hope that in the end, when Jimmy eventually has to move on, and he will move on,